a heart attack. Fast fatal heart impact. Past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions. Fact, don't ask, grab reactions. Jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused. Call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now. Y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Show here, and now. Whenever we last left off, we had a little bit of a cliffhanger. We had things set up to where Deku was facing off against the Juggernaut, and reinforcements were heading in. Now, with that being said, we do currently have what's happening right now. The Hulk and the Juggernaut, both of these two monstrous beings, are currently in the middle of a fight. And everybody's been evacuated for at least 10 city blocks around this area. Since people from reportedly that distance can feel what's going on. And some have even been able to report hearing the fight from that distance away. They were well aware as to what was happening. And whenever a punch was thrown resulting in the Hulk flying through at least 3 or 4 city blocks, that's when they decided to evacuate those areas. Now, we do currently have the Hulk getting up from another punch, as the Hulk does go to grab onto the wall and pull himself out of the debris. As Deku, he actually is standing in front of the Hulk. The Hulk walking right through him, as Deku, he does turn around, informing the Hulk that just because he can get back up doesn't mean he needs to. The Hulk turning his head, looking right at Zuko, telling him that he is protecting, and Deku to just stare at him. The Hulk, he's a babbling idiot, and right now things aren't too good. He doesn't want to try to say it to the Hulk, but Deku, he's trying to hold him back. After the Hulk started to go a little too far in this fight, Deku tried to pull back on those restraints. However, he found it to be more difficult. The more Deku tried to control the Hulk, the harder it became. The more stress was being put on him. And in turn, the more the Hulk started to get angry. It was quite simple. Deku, he's letting him off with as much as he can. That way he can't be too burdened by it. If Deku and the Hulk start fighting for dominance right now over the body both of these two do inhabit, Deku knows it can result in something bad. Either right now, the Hulk loses control and kills a Juggernaut possibly, and then goes on a rampage causing unknown casualties, or the Hulk turns back into Deku. And then Deku has to face the Juggernaut. Yeah, right now they're kind of on that line. It's kind of teetering in between instability and death. So that's kind of their options right now. As the Hulk, whenever he does go to face back around, he is immediately clocked in the face by the Juggernaut, who does go to throw a punch into his gut, as he does actually pick up the Hulk up off the ground and continue running. Now, we do currently have where the reinforcements, they've arrived. And currently, you do have the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and somebody who's at least looking over things. They don't know if they need to get involved. However, they think they might. And you do actually have where Tony Stark, he does inform Captain America that he knew one day that this would happen. And Captain America does try to reassure him. He couldn't have known. Besides, from what the reports have been saying, the kid, or, well, the Hulk as he's called, he's actually here to try and stop the Juggernaut. Not two rampaging beasts going against each other to fight. So it's not what they do think. He needs to remember that not everything looks so easy on the surface. And Iron Man, he does take note of that, as Thor does rush in the battle, talking about how he once fought this beast. And this will be over in an instant. As we do currently have Tony Stark, who, as he does trying to read Richards, he does inform him, asking him if Ben's going to go in and fight. To which he does just hop off of the supercar, or the Fantastic Four mobile, or whatever it's called, and start running in. As he does look towards Reed. Or he does look back at Tony, my bad. Him just saying that it does appear so. Asking what Stark may have in mind. Well, let's see. From what my data is, him actually going to bring something up on his screen instead of his helmet. As he does start to inform Reed that he has a few things. However, he's going to have to deploy this. And Cap said he was too paranoid for making it, so he's going to prove him wrong today. As we do cut over to that battle, as the Hulk was being pounded into the dirt by the Juggernaut, you do have where a hammer does come flying in. It smashed the Juggernaut in the back, as the Juggernaut does actually somewhat go moving forwards. Him trying to throw out his feet to stop the little momentum he's started to build up. And as he does stumble past Deku, the Hulk does go to get back up. As whenever that does happen, the Hulk, he does go to turn around, trying to throw a punch into the back of the Juggernaut. However, the moment he does try to throw said punch, you do actually have Mjolnir, who does go flying back towards Thor. And as that does happen, it does punch Deku directly in the gut, it knocking the wind out of the Hulk, as the Hulk does go flying backwards towards Thor. And Thor, he does get ready. The moment Deku does fly past him, or the Hulk does fly past him, he does inform the Thing that he will deal with the green one, and he can deal with the red one. And Ben Grimm, he does look towards Thor, talking about how that's going to be no fun, but he guesses that he can do that, as he's just going to crack his knuckles and run in to fight the Juggernaut. And you do actually have Thor, as whenever Deku did go flying past him, he stopped Mjolnir. And Mjolnir, after being pulled slightly back towards Thor, the Hulk kept flying backwards, before smashing into something and going to get back up. As whenever he did so, he did stare directly at Thor. And he did feel a bit of anger. He remembers this one. From what the Hulk does remember, it's been a bit of time. Now, for the Hulk, the 5-year gap Deku was absent, that didn't happen for Deku either. That time seemingly passed like an instant. And then there's actually how things do work with these two. The Hulk knows time has passed. However, the amount of time is hard to say, since it's never really talked about before. While the Hulk and Banner in the comics do share memories, they're kind of on a need-to-know basis. Depending on the writer, it could be, oh, they know everything, or they know nothing. Or they know little bits here and there. Now, let's say that from the Hulk's point of view, the amount of time that has passed hasn't been more than 6 years. It's been less than a few months. So, let's just keep that going. Now, the Hulk does get back up, as he does inform Golden Man, or, well, Blonde Man, that he's interrupting his battle, and he needs to take the red one down. And you do actually have Thor, who he does stare at the Hulk, bringing up the hammer, informing that he will have his rematch. And the Hulk does stare at him angry, as he does talk about how Red Man hurts Hulk's friends, and Hulk is angry at Red Man. And this does actually surprise Thor. So he's not rampaging? The man hurts this, well, beast's friends? And that does kind of surprise him. As before Hulk can even continue talking, you do have where he is hit from behind. As the moment he actually is hit from behind, he does jolt forwards onto his hands and knees, going to turn back around, seeing the Hulkbuster, as Tony Stark to try to inform him that he is not going anywhere. And right now they're here to Hulk actually being a bit angry, throwing out his left fist and smashing the Hulkbuster as hard as he can, as he does send the Hulkbuster flying along with Tony Stark, before he does turn back to Thor, as he does shout that he will just smash, well, Golden Man, or Yellow-Haired Man. Now, the Hulk just says something funny, and he does rush in towards Thor. And yeah, things do go pretty badly here. Instead of two very, very strong and durable people fighting, you now have four. Five if you include the Hulkbuster, which after that punch that he just threw at Tony Stark, Tony realized something. It's a good thing he created this thing. However, he does need to increase the amount of armor plating he has on it, since that punch nearly destroyed the armor. And it does show that he underestimated this thing from previous encounters. Now, you do actually have back at the battle, where after Hulk and Thor do fight to a virtual standstill, you do have where the Hulk, he is just getting angrier. And at this point, it's tipping the tides of the battle. And you do actually have Thor. Right now, his helmet isn't on his head, and his hair is flowing in the wind. And you do actually have his face, bloody and bruised, along with actually the way he's standing. You can tell he's taking quite a few blows. However, right now, he's trying to understand. The creature's clearly intelligent, and he's more curious to know what's going on. And you do actually have whenever the Hulk does rush in, as he's going to fight against Thor. However, the moment he actually does go to throw out his fist and smash a punch out at Thor, Thor's fist does collide with his, as Thor actually does break his knuckles and go to somewhat pull back his hand, before the Hulk does go to bring out his other hand, going to grab Thor by the face, as he does start to lift him upwards into the air and just smash him over and over again into the ground. And then you do actually have a few people who do come in. The rest of the Fantastic Four and some more Avengers do try to fight. However, they're splitting their numbers trying to handle these two. And you do have where Susan Storm, she does... Yeah, that's right. Susan Storm does come in. And she does try to help Thor. Right now it seems difficult and somewhat challenging. Especially because whenever Thor is able to get away from this guy and just try to encase the Hulk in a bubble, it doesn't seem to work. He just smashes on the walls until she does get a nosebleed, and she does have to drop that. And then you do currently have back with the mutants. Right now, you do actually have Jean Grey. She is trying to figure things out. After being teleported close to the battlefield, where it's now moved, she does look down. She's seeing the Avengers trying to fight against the Hulk, and this does somewhat annoy her. This isn't his fault. This isn't Izuku's fault. He's trying to help. And it does annoy them. However, you do actually have a Rogue, after at least going to touch Kirk and going to teleport down. She actually does appear on the battlefield. As the moment some people do see her, they are kind of confused, trying to tell her to get out of here. However, the moment she does actually step forwards and go to grab onto Susan Storm, this actually does cause Susan Storm's powers to falter, as she does start to feel her powers being drained. And the moment that actually does happen, she is going to turn her head, trying to bring up her hands, trying to encase the heroes in a bubble to try and inform them. Now, she's only able to get a few heroes, as the ones that aren't encased, they do try to take her on. And this does prove to be difficult, as whenever the Hulk does see her, he does get to try and swap people out of the way. As the moment he does get in close, you do actually have Roku does go to turn, her throwing her hand out to the Hulk as she does start to absorb some of his power. And she does start to bulk up a bit, and people do notice that, as they do realize that she is on this thing's side. And the moment she actually does absorb some power that's enough that she does think would be good enough, she does turn back to everybody. As she's going to bring up her hands and create a large thunderclap, as a lot of people do turn towards her to listen. And some of them, they're more surprised. Their ears are ringing. And what more, this person, they just shattered every window within a mile radius. However, she does start to try to yell. However, thanks to temporarily deafening most of the heroes, Jean has to step in. She does connect everybody up mentally, and after the confusion does settle, at least most of it, Jean does try to inform them. The thing they're fighting that's down there, that's Izuku. That's their friend, that's the Hulk. And he came here to try to stop the Juggernaut. And the moment most heroes do hear about this, some of them do get a bit more defensive on, well, the Hulk. However, you do turn back to the Juggernauts. The Juggernaut is currently fighting against the three members of the Fantastic Four: Johnny Storm, Reed Richards, and Ben Grimm. And right now, they're actually able to somewhat hold him back. While Reed is able to try to stop the Juggernaut's movements, all he's really doing is temporarily slowing him down. And while Ben Grimm, he's trying to just take the heavy hits and get back up afterwards, along trying to deal his own amount of damage, yeah, it's really not doing much. Johnny Storm, however, he's trying to help as much as he can, as their main priority right now is just to try to slow this guy down. They know they can't stop him. And you do actually have where after the heroes who are trying to handle with Deku, they do settle on that, things do turn to try to stop the Juggernaut. And after things do turn that way, a new battle does ensue. And the heroes, they're actually a bit more reluctant to have Izuku on their side, or the Hulk, as he's called. However, they are thankful. Thanks to all these heavy hitters going against the Juggernaut, they're able to stop him. And afterward, it just does come down to what to do with the Hulk. They were able to get that large casing off of his head. And basically, after sealing the Juggernaut inside of his own mind, yeah, he's not going anywhere for a while. As they do cut back over to Izuku. After the battle, the Hulk was a bit more hesitant. While he was able to be convinced that these people, they're not going to attack him again, he was a bit more on the defensive. The amount of anger he does have is clouding his judgment, and he just doesn't know. Whenever someone did approach him, and they did go to throw a joking jab at him, this was not something that they could just simply do. As the moment the Hulk did actually go to throw his fist outwards towards them, he sent them flying, which prompted the heroes to get on the defensive as the Hulk got on the offensive, as he went to go bring his hands out for a thunderclap, going to mimic the thing he saw Rogue do. And the minute that did happen, you did have where somebody they appeared on the battlefield. Besides Kirk, it was Jean Grey. The moment she did appear, she went to go try to bring her hands up to the Hulk. She tried to get into its head. However, the moment she did, she just felt it. The rage, the anger, all of it. She can't get past it. And she knew right then that she had to do something. As she'd go to try and bring up her hand and inform all the heroes telepathically that she's going to try something. And all of them, they need to just back down. He is scared. And this does catch them off guard. Jean, she's trying to just say something that will get them to stop. And she does go turning back towards Izuku. As the Hulk, he is standing there. Blood is going down his arms. And the wounds that are still there, they're somewhat closing up. She never knew he could do this type of stuff. Well, she knew the Hulk was incredibly durable. The fact that he can heal as well, that just makes him more dangerous. And then there's that incredible strength and that ability he has. The longer a fight goes on, the stronger he gets. That's what she thinks it is. She's noticed it before. She's seen it happen before. And honestly, with how scared she is right now, she's more concerned about her friend. The person she's grown to like. As she does step forwards, Hulk, do you recognize me? Now, you do actually have Deku, who the moment he did hear Jean's voice, he went to go turn. The Hulk, he does look down at her, as he does go stepping forwards. And Deku, he does try to pull the Hulk back in, try to pull back in for control. However, the Hulk, he does try to fight against this. And everyone, they do somewhat notice, whenever the Hulk does go to bring his hand up to his head and somewhat turn, he seems like he's, well, troubled in the, well, mind area. And this does somewhat persist. Everyone watching. As Rogue, Jean, she's trying to talk to Hulk, trying to get him to calm down. And it is somewhat working, but at the same time, they can tell it's somewhat distracting Hulk from something else. As we do have Deku. He was currently trying to hold the Hulk back, trying to pull him in. And the moment the Hulk, he was actually able to somewhat calm down more, he did go to fall down to his knees, going to bring out his hand, as he does ask if Red is okay. I'm fine, Hulk. Really, just look. Her bring her hand up to her nose, talking about how it's just a little bit of blood. And the Hulk, he does stare at her, as she does step forwards, going to bring out her hand, asking if he's okay, because she's his friend, and she's worried about him, and she wants him to just try to listen to her. Will the Hulk do that? And the Hulk, he does go to bring up his hands, and Deku, he does try to stop him. If the Hulk tries to, well, grab her, he's going to kill her. He's going to crush her. And this actually is something that does make him hesitate. As the Hulk, he does simply just go to look down. As you do have Jean. She notices that the Hulk's hands are up. And she actually does step forwards to wrap her hands around the Hulk. And everybody, they're just kind of staying there in disbelief. As what happens next, it does somewhat concern them. As the Hulk, he just starts to shrink. And you do have where the Hulk, he did fall onto his knees. Now, the heroes, they actually did see a pair of arms come up and go around Jean. As you do actually have where she does see Deku. The look on Deku's face. He's covered in sweat, and he looks scared. As she does look down at him. And she does ask, as she does go to bring her face in, if he's okay. As she does bring it up onto Deku's shoulder. I don't know. He wouldn't stop punching. He's getting stronger. I noticed. Listen, you scared me. Sorry. You guys were getting hurt. I saw it and I just couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't either. It was the one thing we agreed on. Now, Captain America, he does step forwards. As Deku, whenever he does see the man, him looking up, you do have where Rogue and Nightcrawler do pop in front of them. Or pop in front of Deku. Right in front of Captain America as Rogue is going to bring her hand up, telling him to back off. As Deku, he does want to bring his hands away. As Captain America, he does try to inform them that he just wants to talk to the boy. He just has a few questions. And you do it whenever Deku, he does get onto his feet. As everyone, they do somewhat turn to see him. And the heroes, they're caught off guard by what they see. It's a boy? No, it can't be. It's just some kid. He's a teenager. And he was the Hulk? He was that monster? He was the one facing off against the Juggernaut? Him? And Deku, whenever he is on his feet, he does somewhat have to lean on Jean. And she's somewhat leaning on him. As Deku, he does tell them that it's alright. Are you serious? They attacked you, didn't they? Listen, Cap, whatever you have to say to me, it's not a good time. I know you have a lot of questions probably, but I just can't answer them. I just need to try to get all my head sorted out. It's hard trying to keep him back. I feel like I'm struggling even now. Young man, you do realize that after today, you're going to have to come forward and announce something, right? What? Now, Captain America, he does try to tell Deku. Today, people are going to see him as a public enemy, especially after this battle, and the fact that the heroes came in to try to restrain them. He doesn't know if anyone's around to see Deku face off against the Juggernauts with the heroes. And he's going to have to clear the air, especially if people are going to try to label him as a villain. If he steps forward right now and tries to get ahead of it, that will be good for him. That will show people that he's trying to be a good person. And he needs to know about that much. Right now, they'll leave him alone. As Captain America did say that you did have Tony Stark, who, whenever he did step forward with Thor was excited to talk about another fight. As Tony, he had his own questions. Whenever he did tell Cap that that's not a good idea, Cap did turn to Tony, telling him that the kid's been through a lot, and he needs to calm down. Right now, what they're looking at is the Hulk about to come back out. And he would rather not be there for round 2. Especially since most of the resources are focused on the other big-ass dude over there. Now, language. Someone's going to say it in the comments. I know. Anyways, Deku, whenever he does look up towards Cap, he does see the man. He does want to tell Captain America about what happened earlier. About someone trying to kill him. The reason why the Hulk was out in the first place. But he knows if he tells this man in front of him, a lot more things could go on. Sure, the heroes could help, but there's this idea in his mind. Could they have been the ones to try to do it? Could they have been the ones to try to kill him? Well, this idea in Deku's head does seem unlogical. There is the fact that the person, as soon as they fired the bullet, they got out of there. No normal person could have done that. In fact, thinking about it logically, there is a large, pointy metal fence around the mansion. And the Sentinel, it was there to distract the mutants. A normal person could have gotten away. However, at the same time, they would have tripped security alarms. Along with that, there would have been at least a vehicle seen leaving the area at a very high speed. So they need to at least look into those things. If there's no vehicle, and there's no evidence that someone cut through the fence, then most likely they either arrived with the Sentinel, or they could be a superhero. And that logic, Deku doesn't like how it adds together. Especially because it does fit like a puzzle piece. Now then, with that being said, you do have where whenever Deku he does go to someone open his mouth to give a response, Nightcrawler, he does go to grab out towards Jean. As whenever he does grab onto her, the 2 or the 4 do all teleport, as they're back at Xavier Mansion. Now, as that does happen, Deku he does go to look around. As he does look back towards Nightcrawler. Kirk, I don't think that was a good idea. Really? I was pretty sure that's what you wanted. I mean, yeah, being back here is good. But, I mean, I have to say something. That was Captain America. So, you're back to normal then? What are you talking about? Well, you're focused more on the hero rather than Kirk actually somewhat pointing down. As Deku he does turn his head back down to Jean, as she's still holding on to him. And Deku, he hasn't let go either. it does somewhat catch him off guard. Him going to bring his hands up and somewhat take a step backwards. As he does try to inform Jean that he's very sorry, and he didn't realize he was still holding on to her. As Kirk does poof away, and Deku just turned his head back to that. As Beast, Cyclops, and some other mutants, they all do reappear. And everyone, yeah. They're more focused on that at the moment. As Jean, she does help use her powers to move the heroes to the infirmary. Deku, he does just stand there a bit more dumbfounded and kind of confused. As well, Deku, he's looking around the kitchen, he does notice a few things broken. He does look at the hole directly in the window. It's not really all that well easy to piece together, but from what he can see, this is a powerful round. Deku actually turning towards the table. He does bring his hand out. He was shot here earlier. It's hard to imagine. A hole through his gut? And he does actually look towards Rogue, as she just could open her mouth. You okay? Huh? I don't know. Honestly. I still feel it. You do? Yeah. It hurt like hell. But I'm alive. Yeah, you had us all freaked out there for a minute. We all thought we lost you. I guess I'm just lucky then. Lucky? Or scared? Huh? Izuku, you're smart. And I know how to read people. We can't play dumb with each other. We can't try to hide things from one another. You can talk seriously with me. You're scared. I can tell that. I know how to read people, even without telepathic powers. Now, Deku just stared at her. She brought her hand up to her head when she did that. And Deku, he knows he might as well just come clean with it. I just don't get it. I used to have super strength, and now I don't. But my powers apparently rely on the Hulk. And he's the only one who can use them now. I'm just trying to wrap my head around all that. But at the same time, I'm also trying to think about something else now. I don't want to hurt people. I want to use this power for good. But with the way the world's changed, I don't feel like it's the same when I left. And it's not just that. I took a bullet right through my chest. And I should have died. The way Deku turning around, pointing, saying the way this is all angled, from what he can tell, if he had to guess, the bullet was aimed either right for the top of his spine, so his brain stem, or for his brain, the back of it. The shot was supposed to kill him. However, because he stood up at the exact moment it was fired, he believes he got lucky and survived. However, the Hulk triggered to save his life. The Hulk kept him alive because it, most likely, is like a survival reflex. Just like with anger. The reason why he could turn into the Hulk might be because of stress, or just simply aggravation, which would most likely mean a fight. So it's really all he can think of. And Rogue should just stand there. It all does make sense to her. But at the same time, who would be crazy enough to try and kill him? And Deku, he does just say that he wants to know that answer to that question too. Since that means he's putting people in danger by being here. Now, with that being said, Deku is going to walk away. as while he is doing so, Rogue just tried to tell him that they're mutants. A lot of people want them dead. The fact that a bullet tried to kill him doesn't mean anything whenever there are people all over the Xavier Mansion who people want dead too. He's not alone in this. And Deku froze whenever he did hear that word. He's not alone. Deku knows that already. However, he does still go back to his room. He needs to get a change of clothes and wrap his head around everything. Meanwhile, while that's going on, you do have the news. They're covering the recent events as to what has happened. And while most people see it as, oh my god, the Hulk's returned, and he's here to mess up the world again, or mess up a town here and there, and actually get into some serious crime with some other bad guys, the heroes, they're trying to cover it up. They're trying to talk about how the Hulk actually stepped in to try to stop the Juggernaut. And things aren't exactly how people do believe. However, after being asked numerous questions about the Hulk's past, many people aren't convinced. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.